Listen to this story. I was telling the guys at work about how North Korean defectors would escape North Korea into China, where they would have to lay low because if they were spotted, Chinese locals would report them, where they would be deported back to North Korea, where they would be executed. One of the guys at work said, well, that doesn't really make any sense. I mean, I assume their language is different, but if a Chinese guy walks past a Korean in the street, how are they going to know that they're Korean? And I said, what do you mean? He said, if they don't speak, how are they going to know that they're Korean? They'll just think that they're Chinese, surely.
That's mad.
And I said to him, I looked at him, and at this moment, an Asian colleague entered into the conversation where he said, oh, so you think we all look the same, do you? And he went,
how did he think that? How's that a gotcha moment for him? You literally said it. You literally said they all look the same. That's not a gotcha moment.
And it's interesting. He didn't say anything racist, though, did he?
No, he did.
He said...
Well, that's... Yeah, he said something racist.
He said something racist. He said, how are they going to know? Because
exactly.
Think about it,
yeah.
Right? Someone could walk past you, or they could see a photo of you. They don't know if you have an African accent or a Jamaican accent.
No, of course not.
How are they going to know if you don't speak?
But
do you get what I'm saying?
That's not how he meant it. He meant, how are you going to know? Listen, there's one Chinese, there's two Chinese. Like, how are you going to know they look the same, innit? Like, if it's like English and Scots, he wouldn't have said, how are they going to know? Because you can tell. He knows they're different.
So he's racist. Do you get fired for that?
No, I don't think you would get fired for that, but I think you should be sharply reprimanded.
Sharply
questioned.
He didn't even say. He just said, "How you going to?"
Sharply questioned. Like,
he was
don't
confused.
say that kind of
He was
thing
like,
in
"But how are they going to know?"
Well, racism comes from ignorance, so
yeah,
I think you
true.
should be sharply questioned. Literally, be like, not questioned. Literally, be like, just don't say that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, think before you speak. Think before you speak. At the end of the day,
pause this video. Go and read "In Order to Live" by
Yeonmi Park, and when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway, because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library.
So, this was a very good book. Very good book, you know.
I want to buy the actual physical copy.
Yes, this is one of the best books we've read. It made me feel stuff. It's about, obviously, a North Korean defector and her harrowing story from rags to riches, you know, from having nothing to having everything, from being a prisoner, being in an open-air prison country, to being free. And we just lived the experience right the way through. It was a very good book, and we're going to jump straight into it with my first point. Yeonmi, is it Yeonmi? Yeonmi said that in North Korea, winter times get very cold and temperature goes down to minus 23 degrees. And the electricity cuts off for months at a time. Extreme poverty. But yet they were taught that they live in the greatest country in the world. In North Korea, saying the wrong thing will get you killed. Asking the wrong questions or even having the wrong opinion. Yeonmi's mother had government officials pull up to the house after somebody reported her for speaking about rumours to a close friend. Everybody snitches on everybody in North Korea. In North Korea, if one person commits a crime, then every member of the family is considered a criminal.
Jesus.
Can you imagine you getting catch for something and we all are godong for it?
Do you know what I mean?
Anyhow, I catch you inside them cells when we banged up together.
Yeah,
you know,
knuckles.
wish you got the death penalty.
Yeah, it's knuckles.
Subjecting me to a life of dropping the soap.
Do you know what I mean? You're welcome.
Of your shit.
You're welcome. There is no North Korea. Yeonmi Park states that only outsiders refer to the country of her birth as North Korea. There, it is referred to as Joseon, in the name of an ancient Korean kingdom founded in the 1300s and lasting 500 years. I put 5,000 years for some reason here. There, it is the duty of every North Korean. It's the duty to die for their supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. So it is literally...
I missed that bit. I didn't know that.
They say if you try and leave the country, you are shirking your duty to die for your supreme leader. Yeah. And they call them defectors. Mm-hmm. So it is genuinely one big army.
It's crazy.
That country's one big army, and Kim Jong-un's the general. And he has all the money and all the power. And, like, he's just got everything.
Yeah.
And, like,
he's living life. He's living life.
It's insane, the level of power that he's got. He's got a whole country in a chokehold.
Yeah.
And like I said, they don't even call it North Korea. They're like, we are Korea here. We are the one true Korea.
Any idea what a North Korean wedding looks like? Yep, you guessed it. No ceremony. Yeonmi's parents went to the police station with their ID cards to make it official. The North Koreans have a saying, the thread follows the needle. The man is the needle, So this means that the woman follows the man home. So that's living arrangements sorted. But interestingly, the woman does not take on the man's name. And I wouldn't have that personally. She's got to take my name. But it's interesting that the number one place of oppression and women do not have to take their husband's name. So that was quite interesting. You know, we all have our own traditions. There's no right and there's no wrong. But yeah, Yeonmi said that her mother lived in the center of North Korea, so she had no idea what the black market was. She didn't even understand the concept of business, and all they knew was that capitalism is a dirty word, and money is too disgusting of a word to talk about in public. She said things are so
pure of it, though.
yeah. She said that things are so tough in North Korea that when I was a little girl, my only ambition for when I grew up was to be able to buy as much bread as I could eat.
That's insane. Bread,
When you are hungry, all you think about is food. You know when kids are young and they say, "Oh, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor."
Yeah, no.
The kids in North Korea just want to be able to eat bread.
They want food. Like,
And it's funny because me, I don't even eat bread.
do you know what I mean?
Because I think it's beneath me. I don't even eat bread.
God, I don't even buy
The
it.
thing that I'm turning my nose up at is the thing that Koreans children are
100%.
praying for.
We buy bread
dreaming about.
every week at a weekly shop. Don't eat it, throw it away. Buy a new one. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't even eat it. Or eat like 2 slices. Somebody in the house will eat 2 slices or whatever. Yeonmi Park was born 2 months early. Her mother was only 7 months pregnant when she went into labour, and the doctor said that she was too small to be helped. She might live or she might die, they said. And no matter how many blankets she was wrapped in, she could not be warm. She ended up having to heat up a stone and put it into the blanket with the undersized infant. This is already the greatest survival story of all time. We haven't even got to the good bits yet. She literally had to hug a hot rock just to not die when she was an infant. That is insane.
It's not the best start into life.
Oh,
Well, she was a fighter from back then.
she was a fighter and a winner.
Yeah. Yeonmi Park, a North Korean defector, said that she hated the winters. There was no running water and there was only one water pump in their town. One time her mother had to do something important, so she got Yeonmi to stand in line for her so they could get some water. They got up extra early and joined the line before 6 a.m. The sun hadn't risen. By the time her mother came back, she said, I had been standing in the line so long that it was dark again. My hands were frozen and I have never been cold like that.
Jesus Christ.
Since. Imagine lining up all day just to get water for the house.
Bro,
and you
line
think
up.
you got problems.
Bro, we line up to get a new iPhone. These men line up for water.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You think you got problems? This book really put perspective.
100%. This is what we want. This is 100%
I thought I had problems. I don't.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. I got one problem.
I got 99 problems. Water ain't one.
We'll edit that out. In 2000, Yeonmi's family were wealthy because they had lights. This gives you an idea of how much of an oppressive regime North Korea is. Yeonmi's father's business was thriving. His business was smuggling, by the way. They ate rice every day and had meat twice a month. And although they owned no car or telephone, some of their neighbours were jealous of their lights. So this is a similar thing that we see with the cobalt mines. Stories like this will always be important because they teach us something about how good we actually have it in the West.
You know,
lights, look at these lights we got.
You know, I think she had it worse than the man in the cobalt mines.
Oh my days, because they weren't freezing in the cobalt mines, were they? Do you know what I mean?
They're not freezing and they have food and they get paid every day. What the cobalt guys in the cobalt mine get paid in a day, Yeonmi's family gets that for the month.
That's insane.
Yeah,
There's rice every day. They said they had meat twice a month and they was living large.
They said we're rich. We get to eat rice 3 times a day.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeonmi Park said that her father would read her bedtime stories, but only books were North Korean government-approved books that were filled with propaganda. The children's storybooks would be about a disgusting place called South Korea, and all the children would be poor and miserable. Even their maths books were filled with propaganda. The equations would read, if you kill 1 American bastard and your comrade kills 2, how many dead American bastards are there?
Oh my days.
To say American wasn't enough. You had to say American bastard. Otherwise, the authorities would accuse you of being soft on the enemies and then they could imprison you for that.
Jesus Christ. Yes.
Which is fair enough. There are a lot of American bastards.
But if it's by law, you have to say American
exactly.
bastards. Like if you say Americans,
Yeah,
they're
but
like, wait,
the
what?
interesting
Would you
thing-
say comrade?
Yeah.
Bastards, right?
The interesting thing is that the fact that we can say certain things in public or on the internet shows how free we are compared to North Korea.
Yeah, 100%.
Let me go again because I got more than...
Yeah, go on. I've got 3 left.
All right,
I've
cool.
got 3 left.
Public executions in North Korea were common, used to instill fear. A man was executed for killing and eating a cow. It is forbidden to eat beef without special government permission. I wouldn't be able to live there. You know what states I go through?
Of course not.
All cows are considered government property. People have been even executed for selling or watching illegal DVDs. Would it be racist to say typical? Of course, there's a DVD man in Korea.
Yes, that's racist.
What?
Oh,
There literally is a DVD man there. They
Bro,
sell DVDs.
It's crazy, bro. When I worked at McDonald's, there was a Chinese guy that worked there, and this guy. When I say this guy, he had like Avatar, Where the Water, he had everything.
What, in his jacket?
Yeah, in his jacket, big man. Like it was a different level. It was a different level. We was like, wow. So it's like you actually don't care. Like, you don't care about how people see you.
And he says, "What? You don't care when you eat your chicken."
Yeah, sucking on them bones, you know.
Let me go. North Korea defector Yeonmi Park said that when she was 7 years old, they illegally acquired the Titanic on DVD where they watched it at her uncle's house. Because they could all go to prison for having that in their possession, they blocked out all the windows as a precaution so none of the neighbours could see. Yeonmi said that she was amazed at how they had better and more advanced technology in the film, which was a set 100 years ago than what they had in North Korea, and how Leonardo DiCaprio could talk about feelings of love openly. Yeonmi said that if film producers in North Korea filmed something like that, they would all be executed publicly.
Oh God.
And those guys are dying for things that we take for granted.
Titanic. It's not that good.
Yeah, it's interesting that Kim Jong-un is presented to us as some madman, but he isn't. There is a reason why he wants to protect his people from Western indoctrination, such as ideas of love. So there's certain things he is trying to protect them because we all are hooked on. Look how the idea of love has damaged relationships. You know,
100%.
Yeonmi said lots of things, but she didn't say, "Oh, there was arguments at home, and my mother wanted to be bought flowers every day." Her parents stayed together.
Yeah,
through the hardship, thick and thin. They stayed together.
They went through.
The man cheated.
Yeah,
they fought,
for like 9 months out of the year. So he was staying with that team up north or whatever.
They stayed together.
Jesus Christ, 9 months out of the year, and he was like, "Nah, baby, we're not doing nothing." I was like, "Come on, 9 months out of the year, I'm doing something."
So you know.
That is an interesting point though, because it's like at the end of the day, like,
I look like I'm sympathising with them.
Yeah, we probably should be careful, but suppression is a means of care, you could say, because it's like you're trying to protect people from the influences. Like, look, things like TV and stuff, we think it's normal. We think it's harmless, it's just TV. I was saying to somebody the other day,
I'm gonna say a point.
TV is the biggest enemy in your house. It's in your house. You don't even know it's there. You know, you're watching it all day long. You're flicking through the channels. Information's going in. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know what it's trying to do to you, and you don't know who's giving it to you. Rupert Murdoch. But certain movies should actually be banned because it's giving us very dangerous ideas.
Look, listen to what I have to say. This is the ending which I wanted to say, Bob, because it ties into what you're saying. I said, this book has messed with my spirit, my mood, and no book has done this before. I felt like I was in a bad mood after the story got continuously worse and worse. The story was three-dimensional. It was a capitalism versus socialism debate. And you might think there's a clear winner, but I'm not so sure. All of the worst things that happened to Yeonmi and her mother was actually because of capitalism. The selling, the raping, the beating, the forced labour. People were running a business and trying to get their investment back. Yeah. The main issue of North Korea is extreme poverty. And you might say, well, control is a problem too. Then the answer to that is you get controlled and programmed wherever you go. I was talking to somebody and she said she took her children clothes shopping to get warm clothes. She said for the boys, there were Spider-Man hats or Minecraft hats. And for the girl, there were Minnie Mouse or Frozen. There were no plain hats. There were no plain hats. If that's not control, I don't know what is. Companies are turning our children into products. We are being controlled. Is that any different to what North Korea does?
Yeah, no, of course. You got to control people. You can't let
But
them
I
run
want to
free.
make it clear. I don't think it's companies are trying to coerce your children, but it's the fault of capitalism. If companies were to provide plain hats, they wouldn't sell, taking up valuable space space on the shop floor. So it's not the company's fault or the shop's fault. It's capitalism.
Well, there's many examples. Competition is a better word to use. There's many examples we can look at to see the effect capitalism has. So, farming, for example, with the introduction of farming, now people can have resources, and if you can have resources, you can have more than that person.
Yeah.
And if you want what he has, now I can take it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So farming introduces like competition between people. And as we know from when we read, I forgot the name of the book is actually, but farming is the reason why the Europeans like took over everything. Because like if you live in Africa, you live in somewhere that is plentiful and rich with like rich with soil and there's a buffalo outside to hunt, for example.
You don't have to take farming as
you
seriously.
Definitely do not.
But yeah.
Yeonmi's parents used to fist fight. According to Yeonmi, husbands beating their wives was not uncommon in North Korea.
Seriously?
One woman was even afraid to pick up her chopsticks for fear that her husband would beat her for making noise. That's kind of annoying. Imagine like you got like a clicking them chopsticks. She's a fork. Yeonmi's mother, however, used to fight back. Sometimes Yeonmi was afraid that they would literally kill each other and had to often run to get her neighbours to break the fights up. So that's insane. Imagine some guy that tries to slap his wife and then she's...
No,
Bow!
I don't know. I don't know if it's a film, but the husband slaps the wife slaps him back. Or did we do that? I think we had a fight when he was younger. What happened?
We had loads of fights.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
What, she takes her earrings off?
Slap.
Muslim like in Ghana.
Yeah, I think you said this. North Korean defector Yeonmi said that by age 9, her father's business was booming and they were rich, as he said before. The good times didn't last long, though. She spoke about the times where shortly after, her mother and father would leave for long periods of time where they would be left with a couple days' worth of food. Yeonmi's mother said to her, "You've just got to survive for 14 nights and I'll be back with more food." This is an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old alone. They would go out in the daytime and eat certain plants and flowers like clovers. Some plants they would just chew and spit out because they were inedible. They would chase and catch dragonflies and eat them. Sometimes they would roast them on an open flame. And she said, when you are hungry, they tasted delicious.
Jesus.
But their parents had to leave them to find work, otherwise they'd all starve to death. Nobody can survive on a salary in North Korea. The average monthly salary in North Korea is 2,400 won. That works out to be $2 a month.
Gee, oh my God, that's not
A month.
What are you doing with that? What are you doing with that?
You think you got problems?
Oh my God, what are you actually doing
problems? $2 a month.
Jesus. What are you actually doing with
How
that?
many you got left?
Just got one left.
Alright, let me go. I tried to say more, but still.
$2 a month is insane.
Yeonmi Park said that healthcare in North Korea is so bad that when she got sick, doctors mistakenly thought that she needed her appendix out.
Yeah.
But when they opened her up, they realized that it was her intestines that were the problem. They were inflamed. But they took her appendix out anyway. Fuck it.
Anyway, we're here now.
They paid me to do it. Oh yeah. They gave her so little anesthetic that she woke up mid-surgery screaming. The doctors literally had to hold her down to complete the surgery. She said it was a pain like no other.
Bro, God hates that.
Keep
man.
listening, it gets worse.
God hates that.
She said the hospital was so disgusting and dirty that dead bodies pile up and the rats feast on the bodies day and night. Would you like to know which part of the body parts the rats start eating first? The eyes.
Of course.
They're soft and fleshy.
Fresh.
She said that it's the worst sight she's ever seen. Eyeless bodies. And she still has nightmares to this day. It's still burnt into her mind. So anyway, Yeonmi and her mother decide to use people smugglers to get out of North Korea. Halfway through the trip, Yeonmi was resting when one of the smugglers said to her mother, "I want to have sex with the younger one." Her mother said, "No, she's only 13 and she just had an operation." The man said, "I'll be gentle. Or do you want me to report you to North Korea police?" Her mother said, "No, please take me instead, please." The man led Yeonmi's mother round the corner to where there was a blanket set up on the floor where he raped her. Keep listening, it gets worse. But pause for a second, because what I want to know is how does Yeonmi's mother feel in that moment towards her own daughter who got them into that position? The mother didn't actually want to leave the country, and especially not without the father. But at the same time, was it a blessing that the father wasn't there? Things could have been a lot worse.
Oh, a lot worse.
You might have had to listen.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot worse.
Otherwise, we're calling North Korea police. And you lot all
Jesus
getting
Christ.
executed.
Yeah. Executed as well, not even prison. You man are getting executed.
Do you think she was angry at her daughter, or do you think she was relieved that she saved her daughter from getting raped?
Probably a little bit of both, which you're going to say is a standard cop-out answer. But I genuinely think it was probably a little bit of both.
You can't be
Feelings
angry.
Are, feelings are very
angry
complicated
and
things.
happy.
Feelings are very... I didn't say happy, but you said relieved. Relieved to a certain degree.
But that's still... Relief is still happiness.
And even... Who said you can't be angry and happy?
All over her. I'm happy. I'm telling you that.
Oh, I'm dead. Yeah, who said you can't be angry and happy at the same time?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go a couple of times. So after being raped, Yeonmi and her mother are told that they have two options. Continue their trip to China, defecting from North Korea, where they will be sold to a husband, or they can go back to North Korea, where they will probably be executed. Bearing in mind, Yeonmi is 13. Suffice to say, the mother sold for 500 Chinese yen, or $65. Yeonmi, because she was a virgin, sold for $250. And I don't want to make a joke here because it's not funny, but genuine question. Is there any part of you that's a bit, because you're worth more than your family member, prideful, that, I fetch a better price? Do you think there was any of that? At all, not even 1%.
You cheap bitches. You ain't like me.
Bitch.
Do you know what I mean? You ain't like me.
If I was being sold and I fetched more money than you.
So, like, we're on the lots, would they put us up on the things? You're there with the chains on.
Think about it. All right, let's take
this specimen. You're like, oh, specimen.
Think about it, right? Let's say we put ourselves up for sale, not for sale. Let's say we were famous and we said, all right, we will offer the chance to go on a dinner date with us, and there was people who were bidding.
Okay.
Same premise.
Same premise.
If I raise more money than you, I'm gonna be a bit more,
Fair enough.
Same premise, right?
Fair enough.
So,
Yeah, you can't. I mean, to be fair, it's a similar premise. I don't know if you could say it's the same premise.
Same thing. We're selling premise. Our physical beings.
To be fair, it'd be rent. If it was dinner date, it'd be rent, not selling.
Yeah, we're not selling, but we're still trying to fetch a price.
It's permanent,
it's quite,
permanent ownership.
All right, it's different, but it's quite similar.
It's probably as similar as you can get without it just being the same.
This story gets worse and worse. So after they are sold, they actually get fed. Yeonmi said, I got to eat a whole bowl of rice to myself. Everybody in China must be rich.
Come on, man.
She said there was more food in the kitchen bins than what she would eat in 2 months. Again, I don't...
So there was $4 in the kitchen bin, is what we're saying.
Again, I don't even eat rice. I think it's beneath me. These guys are worlds apart. Sorry, these guys are eating it like they think it's caviar.
Yeah,
we're worlds apart. But this is where their happiness ends. At 5 o'clock in the morning, some men arrive at the house where they tell Yeonmi to wait over there while they rape her mother on the floor right in front of her. And I don't even have any words for that. I mean, they chose this life over North Korea. That's how bad North Korea was.
Okay, hell.
Bloody hell. That's crazy, Joseph. Crazy. I ain't got no words for that. This girl was going through it all.
From birth. From
Jesus
birth,
Christ.
she's gone through it all.
All right, go on. I've actually only got 2 left anyway.
Growing up in North Korea, children are inches away from death. Yeonmi's father was a smuggler and a successful one. However, one day he was arrested by the police who had been tailing him. His wife, Yeonmi's mother, went into Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, to attempt to free him. She went to pay his bail or whatever, and was forced to leave Yeonmi and her sister Inmi with no money, a bag of rice, and some cooking oil. That's it. That's their food. If they need money for anything, they have to find it themselves. If they run out of food, they're on their own. If they were sick, they're on their own. I made chicken and rice yesterday. I ate half of it. I threw the other half in the bin. I was like, nah, not feeling it. Yeah. Not feeling it. Do you know what I mean? They can't waste one grain.
Not a grain.
They cannot waste one grain. If they drop their food on the floor, they got to scrape every last grain of that up.
And one of the things I learned from this book is that sometimes starving to death isn't actually going without food completely. It's malnutrition. So remember, these guys are eating rice. They eat much vitamins in rice.
You know what I mean? You could be eating and still starve to death.
Exactly. So their bodies are slowly shutting down. It's so skinny and so
it gets to a certain point where there's going to be there's only enough food for one of us to actually survive. So what do we do? Flip a coin?
Oh my gosh. Fight to the death.
Oh my God.
That's what happens.
Not without the protein, you can't.
Well, North Korea defector Yeonmi Park, when she met her Chinese husband, she said She had to be taught how to use a toilet. She'd never seen one before. Taught how to wash her hands, and even taught how to use toothpaste. They don't have that shit in North Korea.
Oh my
None
God.
of that. No toilets, nothing.
So
Yeah, wow. She said none of the material things made her happy, not even food. None of it made any difference because she was not with her family. And this is something we've obviously all heard before, but it's extra powerful when somebody who has had nothing, who has experienced what having nothing is really like, and they'd still choose that, nothing, over and to be with their family over what we have in the Western world, which is crazy because this stuff just doesn't make us happy. That's why we're all upset.
Do you believe that though? That being with your family is the key, is the secret. That like none of it made her happy. Because when you look at the conditions that they're actually in versus the conditions we are in now, you can't choose that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the point is, people aren't happy. Look, of all the things that they said, it was all she said. She never said they were unhappy in North Korea. She said they were hungry, they were in poverty, they were controlled. She never said, "Oh, we're all upset." Da, da, da. None of that. It was mainly the poverty thing.
Yeah.
It will never. They wanted to watch DVDs and whatnot, but they was never like, "Oh, we want to change the rules," or da, da. Like being controlled. Was
They
just
only
like,
left because they was like, we're gonna die if we don't leave.
food. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. I genuinely think people can tolerate being controlled. And they can find happiness. You know, even if you take all the technology away, they sing their songs, they'll have their alcohol, whatever. You know, it was mainly the food. If Kim Jong-un sorts out the food problem, then he isn't going to have a problem on his hands because people like to be controlled.
I mean,
Bruv,
people are controlled here. People controlled here
When
anyways.
she got out of North Korea, she said people asked her what's her favourite colour. And she was like, what kind
Whatever
of silly
Kim
question?
Jong-un's
She
favourite
said,
colour is.
she said thinking is hard work. She'd go into the shop to buy rice, and there's 15 types of rice. In North Korea, there'd just be one.
Of course.
She said, now I've got to think about this stuff. It's long. That's what she said.
Kim's favourite. Wherever that's the rice that they'd be buying.
You want to say your last one, and I'll say my last one.
No, I said my last one.
All right, well, I'll say my last one.
Go on.
What happens when a despicable human being, a rapist and a paedophile, somebody that has raped and married your own 13-year-old daughter, saves you and your whole family's life? Yeonmi was 13 years old and her Chinese husband bought her, and then after some convincing, bought Yeonmi's mother and then had her father smuggled out of North Korea too. The husband obviously did this for sexual favours. He reunited Yeonmi's whole family and they all lived under his roof. Yeonmi said that her dad struggled because he obviously hated her husband, but then he also was grateful for him to saving his whole family, which is actually an interesting predicament.
It is an interesting predicament.
Because the husband is obviously a despicable man who deserves the death penalty. But if you're the father,
he did save you and your whole family and reunite you and give you a roof. Boy. So did he say thanks?
Thanks, bro.
Son-in-law.
Oh,
no.
It's not even funny, but it's like...
It's a strange predicament. It's like, what do we do and how do we feel in that situation? We don't know. There's no manual. There's no manual on what to... I mean, you still got to at least try and strangle him in his sleep. You got to try. In the name of being a good father, you have to try and strangle him in his sleep at least. And say thank you to him while you're doing it. But
a North Korean defector's last attempt at freedom. On Yeonmi's last attempt at freedom, where she tried to make the crossing from China to Mongolia, she actually hid a razor blade in her sock just in case, because they aren't taking me alive.
Jesus.
She was going to slit her own throat before getting deported back to North Korea. But yeah, no, this book...
That's a different level of determination.
Oh
could any of us
with
say
a
we could
razor blade?
actually slit our own throats with a razor blade?
Own throat?
Oh my God, I can't even swallow pills. This man's cutting their throats with razors.
Do you think it's going to hurt?
Oh my God.
That's what I'm thinking. I couldn't even do my wrist.
I'm not going to find out.
I couldn't even do my wrist.
I could do this. You can't do that prick
can't
thing when
even-
you get them. Do you know what I mean? Oh my God, we're so privileged. We're so privileged.
Days, bro.
We're so privileged.
Jesus.
I get a
Christ.
paper cut. I'm like, oh.
You know, I mean, where's the plaster?
Do you know? It's ridiculous. I
That
don't know
makes
if I
me
can
feel
do
weak.
that.
Just looking at them.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It makes me vomit.
Jesus Christ. Well, yeah, it's a fantastic book.
Can you be strong in the West then? Can you be a strong person?
I've got a question of the day, actually. I'm disciplined. Question of the day. Your 9-year-old son breaks into a veterinary hospital, so a vet, and he kills and tortures 23 animals in 40 minutes. Some animals were thrown against the wall and some had their paws ripped off. What do you do? Do you involve the police?
What do you mean, what do you do? Yeah, you kind of have to.
You have to.
You have to. He's
I'd say, come here,
psycho.
son.
He's a psycho. He knows what he's gonna do. That ain't my son. That's not my son.
You couldn't take him out. You couldn't let him out of your sight.
I don't want to sleep in a house with this guy. Let him out of my sight. I'm sleeping like this.
So you imagine you say no ice cream for after dinner, Timmy.
And this is what?
He says. He goes. All right.
Yeah.
He goes, all right. Cool.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So that's. Would you buy them a
insane.
pet to try and teach them?
Oh,
to...
come on. You're asking for it. You're asking for it about buying them a pet. I wouldn't buy them food. I said I'd buy them a pet.
That's crazy because there's kids out there. I mean, kids are wild things. If you don't teach them how to look after pets, they will. They'll be too rough.
Obviously, what you're talking about, that's a different level. You're ripping off paws. Like, I'm sorry.
Man said
You've
paws.
graduated from burning like insects with the thing, innit? You've graduated like quite a few levels.
Yeah. So
like,
that means you've taken your eye off him. He's been doing things. That was not his first.
You don't
endeavor.
reach that in one. Do you know what I mean? Like you
And
have
if
to
he
graduate
does,
to. Oh, that's even worse.
Put him down.
Jesus Christ! Oh my days! Just burn the house down in a minute. Just have another child. Could always have more.
But yeah.
I don't think there's no dilemma here. There's no problem. There's no questions to be answered. Kill that guy immediately.
Oh my gosh.
23 animals in 40 minutes.
He went on a rampage.
He's doing up numbers. He's doing. This guy
Mass murder.
he nearly got the attack dogs, bruv, from Call
With
of
his
Duty.
bare hands,
Do you see what I'm saying? He got the attack dogs, bruv, on the kill streak from Call of Duty.
That would be your son to do something like that.
Oh,
But yeah,
You'd be
listen,
like, only
it's
me.
time for us to end. We've got libations. Till next time.
Till next time.